Kole Ahmed Shettima, born to Kanuri parents on 25 February 1960, hails from Machina, a town in present-day Yobe State, situated approximately 5 kilometers from the Nigeria-Niger border. Kole had his primary education at Machina Primary School and secondary at Nguru Secondary School. He obtained his undergraduate degree from the University of Maiduguri and later pursued a master's at Ahmadu Bello University Zaria. He then ventured to Canada, earning a PhD in political science from the University of Toronto. Throughout his academic journey, he has contributed notably to various scholarly journals, including Africa Development, Review of African Political Economy, African Studies Review, and Journal of Asian and African Studies. Growing up in Machina village, his community lacked access to basic amenities such as clean water, electricity, and even passable roads. But he managed to overcome these challenging circumstances and rose to lead one of the most influential foundations that has redefined the work of civil society organizations in Nigeria, MacArthur Foundation. Today, he sits on the boards of several organizations, including the Center for Democracy and Development, Jais Charity and Development Foundation, and Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation. Kole believes in education, hence he has undertaken projects to promote education on all fronts. Hello and welcome. This is the Icon Show, and a show where we celebrate people of exceptional abilities, people whose journey on earth touch lives, change the narrative in their communities, and make us better persons. This week we have someone who has touched life, someone who has changed dreams into reality, someone who has led in the development of communities and shaped our youths to become better youths. Our guest, no doubt, is the country director, MacArthur Foundation, Dr. Kole Shettima. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure having you here.
Yeah, but except I don't know who you're introducing by the way that you say remarkable, all those adjectives that you
Actually, this program, we are going to delve into his activities, how he had journeyed, how he became what he is, the challenges he overcame and still overcoming, and how he overcame them. Join us as we delve into his activities, his life, and person. You're welcome once more.
Thank you very much, Princess.
All right. Can you just give us a peep into your early days? What inspired you? What made you become who you are today?
I wish I knew what. I wish I knew that one. My early days. So my early days, well, I lost my dad at a very, very young age. So I was fortunate to be brought up my mom and my grandmother and my brother and my adopted father. Born in a very in a village like 5 kilometers or so from the Niger Republic. So maybe I will have been a Nigerian as well. Well, at least we had palms across the border in the Niger Republic. So went to primary school there in the village and went to a community secondary school where we started with from 1 you go to Zanamat. When you have these constructs that are used to build classrooms.
Okay.
Then,
wow.
then we graduated to a classroom of zinc, then asbestos. I think it was in Form 4 or so. we were fortunate to come into like a block, So when you come into a block in Form 4, you have arrived.
You have arrived.
You have arrived. You have arrived. At that time, and then of course, electricity was a big problem for all of us, being a community school. Uh, and then water was a problem for us. We had wells where we have to draw water, and of course the prefects were the one who were punishing us all the time to be carrying them water and fetching them water and all those kind of things. Um, and then you also, in terms of electricity and power, you also graduate. So at one point, you have bush lamps, then you have tilly lamp, then you have gas lamp, then you have real electricity when you come to a certain stage in your classrooms and other things as well. So it was a very, I think it's a very interesting and challenging and difficult environment growing up as a child. But I think probably that also provided the cement and the background for us to know that, and I think that is the case for all, most Nigerians, Most Nigerians, when they leave the shadows of this country, you see them excelling just because I believe that they have been tested, tried with all the challenges of NEPA and water and everything that you can think about.
All the challenges.
All the challenges. Now, once they leap out of the shores of Nigeria and then they go to other parts of the world, you see them excelling. And I think that it is this that early life of going through all these challenges that really prepared many Nigerians. So I think that that was my own preparation preparatory stage. But I think that it is important also to say that even at a very early age, I was very much rooted in my community. I always organized people in my community. I always participated actively in my community issues. I was very much a community-oriented person. So I think that also gave me the soul, the purpose of why we are who we are. Nothing other than being good human beings, being service to people and humanity, and each and every one of us serving our own communities and doing what we should do as well.
Okay, what were those significant challenges that you faced? Not the community challenges, but as a person in your work, growing up, what were those significant challenges you faced?
Well, as I said, coming up to the village, at that time, I think maybe, you have, so our village market day is Sunday, and the closest other town was 50 kilometers, 50 kilometers, and the market day is Wednesday. So on Wednesdays there are vehicles that go to the market. On Sundays there's one you can go to. So those are the two market days that you always. So coming from that kind of environment, of 2 days in a week when vehicles will actually fly, to those places about 50 kilometers. Going to a community school, which is also like 50 something kilometers from the village. Going there, I remember the first day we were in school, we were speaking a local language, and they said, but you're not supposed to speak in particular. So they said, you must speak English. We were asked to dig as a punishment. We were asked to go and dig something, and then we were given clothes to wash, for the punishment of speaking in particular language and other things. And as I said, being away from home for the first time, 50 something kilometers away, was a very difficult and very traumatic situation. I think that struggling, to make sure that your school fees are paid on time and other things were major, I think, challenges that as an individual have faced. And I think that so living in those kinds of challenges of being away from home for long time and long distance for the first time and coming to a new environment
where you started with punishment.
Exactly, when you started with punishment, and it was nothing but was speaking a language, speaking
What are the core values that has been driving you in your career? That you have it has guided your path in this career. What are those values?
Well, for me, it's just being a human being. You know, just just you have a soul and treat every human being as a human being. It's fundamental to me. Um, my commitment to the values of integrity, uh, values of learning, values of fairness, values of justice. And at the end of the day, it's just about being a good human being. Just be a good human being.
So I want to go personal. How have you been able to manage your personal life and this high profile job?
Maybe I'm not managed.
How do you balance it?
I don't know, maybe I'm not managing, I'm not balancing that reality of God, you know. The reality is that I think the balancing out has been a big challenge, like our life work balance. For me, I think that's horrible, I think. And I would advise everyone not to behave like the way I behave myself. I think that we need to create the time, I think, for ourselves, for our families, our other networks, and of course the work that we do and other things. So I will definitely I won't ask you to look up to me in that angle. That I don't know, I'm a bad example with that one. But I think my one was also complicated by the fact that so this is like 10 o'clock in Chicago, our headquarters in the morning. So I think that given our time zones, I think it's an additional factor in my own case. So, but in general, I would advise people not to like myself as an example of what they should do. I think maybe they should look up to people like myself as an example of how not to do something like that.
Most or your best achievements, that's the legacies you're going to leave behind.
You have to ask, you have to ask the people there now in terms of what are the legacies. I mean, there are so many things I'm very happy and very proud of in terms of the work that we have done. And I think that the MacArthur Foundation has given me an opportunity to do many, many things that ordinarily I would not have done. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity provided by the foundation to do things. Remember I said that I'm very much community oriented. I believe in human beings, support human beings. But not everyone of us will have the opportunity to do those kind of things. However good intention you are. So I think the foundation has provided me that opportunity for which I'm very, very grateful for. So I remember, we did a lot of work in this country over the last 30 years. MacArthur's work in Nigeria.
You've been in MacArthur for 30 years?
Are you scared or something like that? Well, I've not been in MacArthur for 30 years, but I've been in MacArthur for 25 years. So in some ways, it's also about me and about the institution itself. So in almost every aspect of life. For example, we did a lot of work on leadership development. At that time, all we were thinking about was just identify people who are doing good things in their villages, just give them small support, and then they will grow and thrive. Many of those people who we supported in the 1990s and 2002 have now grown up and become very important personalities, both in Nigeria but globally. So I think that building and seeing these individuals as human beings growing up were so fantastic in our things. And I think we'll continue that one when we started supporting universities. I recall we have supported like 262 PhDs. Wow. Gone to universities, about another 200 plus masters people who have grown up. So you can see the multiplier effect of these 200 plus PhDs, how many students they have also trained and other things as well. We have done a lot of work around girls' secondary education,
these young women who probably have not really, but for the opportunity to be what they are, but opportunity to be given by the foundation, probably they would have been something else as well. So just along the line around human beings, also the fact that um, we are doing a lot, we have done a lot of work, especially around mass communication programs, faculties, supporting these faculties, helping them with equipment and even building radio station, even putting television station, so that these young people who have been in the university system can now actually see a television and practice television, and work on radio, and many, physically disabled people who have just supported them with scholarship so that they can also go through this process. Many, many young women, fellowship for many, many young women just to go through this communication program and become hopefully excellent journalists, maybe the next Aman Fu and all those great people and the great princess, all of them will come out of those kind of programs and other things. So one is really, how do we, the impact of the work that we did in terms of just touching the lives of people through, training, skills development, leadership development, girls' secondary education, university work, all the things that we have done is certainly one element of the work that we are always at. Because these human beings will go and do all kind of things. They may not do what you want or what you train them to do,
Exactly.
but they will go and do other things in different aspects of their life, and they will be so, so important in other things as well. So that's just one element of how we have touched the lives of people.
Okay. So looking back at your journey, what lessons have you learned that you say, "Hi, if I had known this earlier, it would have been this way"?
I don't think I don't usually look backward for many times. I think this is one of my mistakes also. I think that I don't think I sit down and say, oh, all the things that I've done, maybe I should have done it this way or that way. I am not very good at that one. Usually I'm a person who just looks forward. Because part of the learning for me is that I think it's good. I also admire people who reflect back and sit down and think about all those things and then do whatever they want to do for future and other things. But I am also someone who really don't want to be dwelling on the past and getting drawn back to what was done in the past and what was done in the past. Sometimes I feel like that is also going to drain my energy and maybe focus on negativity and make my life much more complicated. So yes, I go through all kinds of challenges and difficulties, and I think I really don't want to dwell on those ones. Focus on what I can do. But as I say, this doesn't mean that mine is the right way to do it. I think there is something useful in really reflecting back and thinking about, are there things that you should have done differently? What are you going to do differently? Certainly, in terms of programming and other things, yes, I think that there are certain things that, like in the program that we have been doing, I think that that's something that probably we should have done first before the other things. For example, we supported universities, but probably we should have started from supporting girls' secondary education first before doing the universities.
Okay.
The reason why I say that is that, education is a pipeline. Start from primary, secondary, university. If you don't get the pipeline correctly, whatever kind of thing that you do at the upper level, it will have minimal impact. So I think that for me, for example, in terms of education work, I think starting from the pipeline and building the pipeline is something with the benefits of hindsight, we should have done it as well.
Okay.
It's the same thing, for example, the work that we are doing on investigative journalism that we are doing. I think that probably we should have started by focusing on supporting journalists who are really in media houses first, and not to support people who are freelancers or any of those kind of things. Because the skills, the journalists that are being trained, if they are in the media houses, they will practice it. But the others, they really have very little opportunity to really practice it as well. So maybe, our emphasis should have been, people who are actually working in media houses should come first before the other ones would keep considered. I also think, so that is that one. The second thing is that I don't know how we can break this challenge of sustainability of the media houses. Because sustainability of media houses is very, very important. What is their business model? How will they survive? How do they survive? We know all over the world that media houses have been collapsing. We hear stories of what they call the news deserts, because all these people, many people establish media houses as a business, but clearly it's becoming very clear that media houses is
Cannot be a business.
yeah, for most people it cannot be a business.
So I wish there's something we can do about the business models of our news organizations, because if you look at all over the world, the newspapers are folding up, the media organizations are folding up, because one, the traditional advertisements is now going to all the social influencers
Yes.
and others who are taking all the advertisement. Secondly, in a place like Nigeria, we don't really have organizations that support media. In other parts of the world, yes, there are media organizations that have been funded by philanthropic endeavors and other things. And I think that our effort in this country to see if we can develop different models for businesses, I don't think that we have been as successful as we would want them to do. For example, there are many of our people who have tried like subscription or paywall or membership. All of them, I'm not sure that we have been very successful in really getting these media organizations successful in those ways and manners. So I think that is, one area that, I wish there's a magic one that we can introduce to enable the media houses to continue to strive and survive in this country.
All right. So now, what is your message to the Nigerian youth who is passing a whole lot of economic challenges, cultural, environmental, and yet they want to change the narrative in their communities, just like you're doing? So, what advice do you have for them?
Oh, for the youth, my own suggestion and advice, and I don't know whether this is a selfish one or not, is that at the end of the day, my belief is that there are 220 million Nigerians, and 220 million Nigerians, we can't leave this country, go to another part of the world. However much many of us Japan, I think it's going to be a very small group of us that will be here. I believe that this country is a country of creativity, innovation, learning, especially by the young people of this country. I'm amazed how many of them, whether in civil society, whether in technology, or whatever you see them really, they are doing many, many things different. And I want us to focus on those who are doing good things and learn from those good things of what they are doing and how we can also be part of this global drive. Because I truly believe that with our population, about 60 to 70% of them, all of them are youth. With this population of 60 to 70% of our people at that age bracket, we just have to support our youth. Good quality education, excellent health, and thirdly, economic opportunity. If we can do those three things, I truly believe that our youth are going to wow us all over the world. Even now, they are doing wowing us in many ways.
Yeah.
And therefore, I think that for us who are adults, also let's try as much as possible to also to focus on the good things that the youth are doing, rather than they are drug adults, or they are prostitutes, or whatever, all the negative things that we tend to focus upon. I think that we should look at their focus so that they can also have a sense of worthiness. And I think that at the end of the day, our youth, I think, have shown that they can innovate, and they need to continue to innovate in the civic sector. This country is their own country to govern, really. Because if we allow, at the end of the day, it's really about political power. If we ever get the political power, is one that's going to make the difference in this country. And I believe that the youth have the numbers to make that change to happen. If they allow the rest of us to continue to toy with their lives, I think that I think that is a very, very unfair life.
You said if they allow, what
Mm.
should they do so as not to allow?
So one, I think we all have to get engaged in our village level activities, in our town halls activities, in the places that we worship, in our states, at our federal levels, and other things. So making a difference in our society is not just you have to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, because there's only one president out of the 220 million of us. So there's not much we can do about, except for one person, in our own state, there can be only one governor, but in your own neighborhood, you can do something positive for your own community. And I think that contribution towards the small thing that we do at our lower levels, I believe will build up to something bigger. And that I think that they should aspire to the presidents of Nigeria. I think they should aspire to be governors of Nigeria. And I think, in my view, they have the numbers to make that difference to happen. And I think that we, the adults, I think we have a responsibility to support them to be what they should be.
So, in essence, you're saying that they should aspire to be whatever they want to be, but they should start from their communities.
I think so. You see, the reason why, if you look at the traditional institutions, you don't just wake up one day and become the emir of Kano. It doesn't happen that way. There's a process. You may be a village head first, maybe a ward head, a village head, a district head, then something and something before you can become an emir. Because there's a process of trying to learn. Why do you think that just because you have some money somewhere, that you wake up one day and then you go, I'm going to be president of Nigeria? It doesn't happen that way. That tutelage, that process, that mentorship that you mentioned has to happen. And I think that the mistake many of us make is that to assume that you can just wake up one day and I want to be the governor of the state. Why? Just
you start working towards it.
Yeah. And it doesn't work in that way. There are processes that has to be followed. And that process that followed is the same that if you look at our traditional institution, that is the way it works. Even in our religious institutions, you don't become a cardinal just one day you wake up and say, okay, I'm going to be cardinal of Nigeria. No.
All right. So, what's your hobby?
I don't know. I watch soccer for sure. I read as much as I can most of the time. I like actually, surprisingly, I'm an introvert. I like being myself. I just want to lock myself in, be with myself, and talk to myself, and just enjoy my company.
All right. I actually wanted you to practice, to demonstrate your hobby. So I don't know, which one are you going to demonstrate? Playing
Or maybe I'll
football?
just keep quiet and not say anything. That's the only way in which I can, show you that I'm an introvert, so I can just keep
Demonstrate,
quiet.
let's see. How long can you stay like this?
As long as your battery can. As long as your battery can, as long as you have the air time. I can do that one as well.
All right. So what's your last words just before we go?
I think my last word is to say that I truly believe that, wherever Nigeria goes is where Africa would go and where the black race will go. This is a country, one every out of 4 black people in the world are Nigerians. We have a responsibility to uplift the black race. We cannot continue to mess up. If we continue to mess up, we are messing up all the black people of the world. So I hope that we have a sense of responsibility as people in this country, that this is not just about Nigeria. This is about Africa. This is about the black race. The respect, the dignity, and the courage of the black people in this world really, really depends upon what we do as a country, as a black people. And I hope that our leaders really take that as a very, very important thing. They are not only ruling Nigeria, they are ruling Africa, they are ruling the black race.
Well, that's how we call it a day on this episode of the Icons Show. You must know as a leader of Nigeria that you are not just leading Nigeria, that's your word. You are leading the African race, the black race. So do the best to be the best. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Until next time, bye.